started the concept. Like my old concept was like in the title for 2 years, but when people like everybody's working,
Sure.
no one's like, put it up, Trace.
Right.
Just you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Standing room only in here. I apologize, I didn't memorize this, so I'm going to read. Go in. No, I do some. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for coming. I'm Rachel, your MC for the evening, and also the Director of Marketing and Promotions for Molotov Metalworks. And also Jason's wife. I was just telling Chase before coming up here that I'm so grateful our friends always F with a theme because the silver and gold is really amazing. So tonight, as you know, is a celebration not only of the fantastic addition to the Fort Collins art scene, known as One More Time, but also of the contributions you all made to make this possible. And whether you donated to the Kickstarter 2 years ago, can you believe it? Or helped pour concrete outside, put in hours at the shop, followed along on Instagram, or cheered the project along from afar, you are all a part of this. If it weren't for you, Trace and I would probably be sitting on the couch tonight, and I'd still be hearing about this incredible idea he has for a sculpture. And because that's how he is. Once he has a vision, it doesn't go away until it's made a reality. He wakes up with an idea and will stare at the ceiling until that idea is fully formed. Then he works tirelessly to bring it to life, and I mean tirelessly.
I don't know, I'm pretty tired.
This sculpture often entails early mornings, late nights, sometimes sleeping at the shop to maximize efficiency. And he even broke his foot last summer and made a peg leg so he could still hobble around the shop.
Yarr!
It's been incredible to watch the dedication and passion and effort that's gone into creating an incredible piece of artwork outside. So the man you're here to see tonight is truly an artist through and through. And while he needs no introduction, he sure as hell deserves one. So, here it goes. Many of you likely already know Trace for his kind heart and generous spirit. If you don't know him personally, you might recognize his work. His magnum opus is Scariot.
Curious.
The octopus that watches over Colorado Springs. Or perhaps the Paw and Music City Hot Chicken. All of our favorites. Or the larger-than-life skeleton that headlines the Fort Collins Dia de Muertos celebration each year. Not headlines, but it's a compliment. That's not appropriate then. Headline. So his work is notable, unforgettable, and transcendent, because I have to use that buzzword at least one time. So please allow me to introduce the artist, the visionary, the man of the evening, the creator of One More Time, Trace O'Connor!
Heartthrob. Love you.
Sit in front row.
Oh yeah, front row seats over here. Look at this. Yeah, baby, watch out. Holy cow, look at all you sexy people out there. Wowee. I gotta unwind this a little bit so I can walk over to the center of the stage here. Dun, 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 dun. All you people, holy cow. I probably should have prepared something, I suppose.
Give it to him,
Holy cow. Do it. Yeah, that's my wife, the planner. Saying, you didn't prepare something? starts with hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. I didn't memorize this either, so pardon my glancing down. True believers, we are here. Holy cow. I'm sorry if I'm sounding a bit like some kind of Dr. Bronner wackadoodle with that, but I'm just really excited. I'm Trace, if you don't know me, and this is the One More Time VIP party. If you're looking for the Chemistry 101 class, it's down the hall in the other theater. Everybody. I had to raise her head, yeah. Also that, too. Thank you for being here today. Today is the day. Long have I dreamt of this day, being here with all you lovely humans in front of me. If you're wondering, no, this is not going to be some stuffy frickin' art expo or quiet cocktail party. No, sir. No, ma'am. I would love to set the tone of this great meeting of the minds as one of celebration and merriment. I'm reading from this page here to help my frazzled-ass mind remember as much as possible, so please excuse my constant referencing. Turns out teleprompters are expensive. Oh. So, as we do have a bit of agenda herein, I'd love to entertain any and all heckling, but please save it until after the presentation. Now that said, as a Southerner, please and by all means, if you would like to interject with a resounding hoot or holler, please be my guest. Now, that is some audience participation. Thank you. Those are my friends and family there. Yeah, hell yeah. There's going to be some cheersins. If you got yourself a glass, make sure she's a full one. So gather around, little kitties. I'll tell you a story of a little sculpture that we call One More Time. Have you been invested enough to read about the project on my website? You probably heard me yammer on about the OMT origin story. It's a bit lengthy, so I'll Cliff's Notes it here for you tonight. If you would like the play-by-play, feel free to cruise on over to onemoretimesculpture.com for the rest. Long story short, I watched a video blurb about the end of the career, spoiler alert, of one of the more epic bands of our time. You guessed it, Daft Punk. Thanks for the intro song there. Their ideas and techniques are absolutely pandemic in modern music, so deep dive it up the next time you're bored at the computer. But regardless of who or what else they are, they were two inseparable musicians, right? And they were also an entire aesthetic. I mean, like, what a vibe, the like, robot, chrome, and gold, you know? They were never seen apart. They were always together as a force, as a team, conjoined as a musical duo, and then one of their personas just vanished. They were suddenly gone. Now, obviously, being a longtime fan of 2 decades plus at this point, I was jarred, and I was a little shaken. I watched that video right at 4 years ago, which is absolutely wild to say. This visual was so powerful and it stuck with me like a splinter. And when I removed it, a beautiful idea came with it. I thought of making a sculpture to commemorate a precious moment. What it would be like were one to connect with another human, a friend, a relative, a lost someone, but only had that one single solitary one more time to do so. What would one say? How would one want to be for them? What sentiment would want to convey? In that moment of ideation, I saw all of humanity distilled down into these 2 figures, pointedly anonymous, with no faces and no curves, polished to the pure shine of a mirror and made to the highest level of detail and quality that I could control. A mantra from Bruce Lee, like the sculptor who doesn't keep adding clay to his statue, but instead strips away the inessentials until the truth is revealed. That one sat pretty hard with me. Their gestures would cross in an embrace, and where they touch, they would change each other, just as true humans do when we step into each other's lives. As the musicians' personas were the seeds of this idea, their colors came through in its chrome and gold fruit. They have looked into each other, now looking into their finished surfaces. Not only do the community members see themselves, they see each other. Lastly, regardless of any homage to the musicians, I don't know that I could come up with a better name than One More Time. Hoot, hoot, hoot. Like I said, this idea came to me right at 4 years ago, so the sun has risen and set more than 1,000 times since I had this idea. Frickin' A, man. Here are some fun highlights from the process from the screen behind me, which we'll get to in just a minute. There will be a Q&A session after the presentation. Sorry, I lost my spot. So please save those pressing questions for that time. Another very relevant quote that we found just before the Kickstarter launch: the beauty of crowdfunding is that you can be part of something big like funding public art without aristocratic status. So I just elevated everybody, you know. And that, by the way, is a quote concerning another little sculpture that was funded in part through crowdsourcing. It's called the Statue of Liberty. Thanks for my lovely wife, Rachel, for finding that one. So without further ado, I'd like to dole out some recognition to the community that made this insanely intense and massive-ass project possible, and recognize several specific true believers here in front of everybody. So please stand or wave if your name is called. Obviously, in turn, give them the round of applause that they deserve. And of course, a proper hoot, holler, and cheers if you're sitting close enough. Right off the bat, raise your hand if you had a part in funding this. I was like most of this room right now. I could not have done this without you, so big old thanks goes out to you guys. Bravo, and thank you. I'd like to mention that this is also would not have been possible without a very generous and unsolicited loan from the Knutson Foundation, wherever you are out there. Their founder is here, but has asked not to be recognized. Big round of applause. Thank you for funding public art. What's that, Mary? I'm still pointing. I knew she wouldn't like that, so she's unnamed. I mean, that person, whoever that is unnamed. John Smith, who is a legitimate and real dude, I promise. Where you go, John? Yeah, he's a real ass guy right there. Yeah. Thanks for making the very first donation Ticketmaster style at 12 noon on the dot on opening day to get the ball rolling. To Ricardo Contreras Mendoza and Catherine Russell. I think Ricardo left. Is he still here, Ricardo? Oh, he said he had a dip, so. Woo! That's right. Let's go, Ricardo. Thank you for being the first people one day apart to suggest throwing a Kickstarter. I had kind of like sadly been like, oh, I have no idea about this, I don't know. And they're like, well, throw a freaking Kickstarter, dude. John and SJ Lawyer. Where y'all at? Woo-woo! Over here. For not only donating to the campaign, but coming back for a second donation to close the last gap to get us across the finish line. Thank you. Also, freaking closing up the last gap the last couple of days. These guys are featured in the photos out there, just like showing up, after we're like 99.99%. I was like, all right, well, we still have 200 hours of work to do. So, like, anybody? And those guys, they showed up time and time again. Mr. Jeff Christensen for donating hours and hours of tedious polishing work. Where you at? Mr. Jeff? I can't see you. Those house lights. P.S. Sean, is that the house lights? Is that a dimmer or is that a switch?
It's just a switch.
Just a switch? All right. Let's just pull the house lights up, man. I want to see all these people.
I don't know. I don't have that.
All right. I don't control. Dink, dink. Dink, dink. All right. Well. All right. Well, you're gonna have to raise your hands extra high and hoot and holler extra loud. So. Oh. Anyway, all right. Mr. Jeff Christensen for donating hours and hours of tedious polishing work, acid etching, general sculpture shenanigans, as well as selflessly helping me troubleshoot and fix my busted-ass truck time and time again. Thank you. Mr. Rowan Christensen, where are you at? That's right. Over here. For his hours and hours of tedious 3D printing work to help me get those Kickstarter rewards out the damn door. Thank you. Also, thanks to Mama Heather Christensen for availing her professional grade 3D printer and just general banter and shenanigans. Mr. Roy Chenoweth, I saw over here somewhere. This guy, my hero. Thanks for driving 40 minutes one freaking way to help me weld this behemoth together, stacking dimes late into the night after night. My dude has come to my rescue time and time again. I love this guy. Homie. Super, super homie. Mr. Davin Aurelius Henderson, right here in the front row. This guy. Davin, stand up for me, would you? All right, if you need this, if you see this dude out on the street, give him a hug for me. And buy him a beer and a freaking neck rub and stuff. Dude. Like, this dude that is my homie right there. The man with the golden plan. Davin has come over more times than any other one person and to do the most tedious part of the entire sculpture process, gold plating. What a time suck with a period after each one of those. Thank you 1 million, dude. My homie. Okay. Dude. I super appreciate it, man. Unfortunately, my phone flipped when I did that, so now we're trying to figure out where exactly we were. Let's all go to the lobby. All right. Jordan and Casey Twiggs. We all know those guys. Fellow miscreants. For awesome OMT merch design and being general super hype man and hype woe man. They're unfortunately in Tacoma, Washington, but their energy is here. It is felt, and it is priceless. Mr. Nick Lofaro. Way back in the back, standing up, hugging hot chicks right there. That dude. Thank you for driving 3 hours one way to come skillfully run a grinder for me, as well as being a never-ending fountain of hype and smiles whenever I send progress photos. You, sir, are a true artist. Give it up in there. You guys are awesome. I'd like to thank the lyrics' own Ryan Guillaume. Also, heartthrob, this dude. That guy. Ryan holds the record for the second highest number of visits to work on the sculpture and perhaps would have been the highest were it not for a bum elbow, which I'm sure I did not help because all I had him doing was polishing and grinding weld seams. A lot of work, man. It's a high volume project. You, sir, are also a true artist. There we go. I can't see you back there. Oh, yeah. There we go. There it is. Oh, dude. Tom BM, big thanks for the lovely Sierra Guillaume. That one. For taking on all the parenting duties for their cutest little toddler, Sep Guillaume, and making room in their schedule for Sculpture Fab Time favors to this guy. So, cheers to you guys. He's a cutie. The baby. I mean, got to clarify after that comment. Mr. Stephen Ross Gardner. He had a big ass hat on earlier. He's back there somewhere. That guy. Who spent days with me poring over the minutia of 11,000 pound concrete plinth that the sculpture now sits on. Thank you. That guy. There's conduit for water and electricity in there for future iterations of the sculpture. But did you know that? No. Thanks to Steve. We did that. Mr. Ian Overton, thanks for donning a brown morph suit and unknowingly bearing your junk in front of all these people here tonight as a model for the 3D scan for the Tomas sculpture, which will be on the big-ass screen there in a minute. And secondly, for coming over for hours and hours of tedious polishing work time and time again wherever you see him. There he is, that guy. He's a step. Yeah, so Peter was, he's next, but he's not here tonight because in Vietnam, yeah, that's right. Vietnam, riding motorcycles or something, dumb shit like that. Yeah. But, side note, there have been, like, you know, I'll talk to people here about the sculpture, and they're like, man, the butt on the silver sculpture is really nice. So don't tell Peter. Peter, if you're watching the video, sorry, man. I'll model you better next time. Like, two of the girls yesterday were like, it's out of reach, I can't get it. I was like, yeah, he is the taller of the two guys.
Bike ride, them beat nurses.
That's right. All right, as mentioned, Mr. Peter Field also gets an honorable mention for bearing his junk in front of all you lovely people while modeling for the Gee sculpture, though he's tragically out of the country this week. He is missed. Let's all give him a round of applause and thanks, Peter. Ready? 1, 2, 5. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Peter. Mr. Mitch Dalton. Mitch gets a bronze trophy for highest number of visits to the shop for polishing Purgatory and other various shenanigans. The man has sunk days of his life into making this thing shiny for me, so a massive thanks to you, my guy. Mitch is also tragically out of the country this week, but let's all give him a round of applause and a thanks, Mitch. 1, 2, 5. Thanks, Mitch. Mitchapalooza, that guy. Running our camera shenanigans tonight, Mr. Kevin Banker. Yeah. Got some representation in this audience, my guy. My brother from another mother, a huge shout out goes to you for making the initial Kickstarter vid, as well as that awesome Trebuchet Kickstarter vid, as well as those tables for Music City, as well as any of my Instagram content that's worth a damn, as well as playing Odell Beer Fairy all those times I was too broke for beer because I spent $50,000 on a sculpture materials and simultaneously wasn't able to do any paying work for months. So this guy right here, Kevin Baker. Appreciate that, dude. Next up, I'll need an audience volunteer. Oh, I saw a hand back there. Sean's got responsibilities already. I saw Jason, or whoever it is right there. Yeah, come on up, dude. Come on up. Woo! Audience volunteer time. You gotta come up. Come on. Let's go. Whoever it is. All right. Sean's got to get some use out of that gold jacket.
I'll double fist.
Sean, David, Carol Spainhour. Sean, David, Carol Spainhour. Everybody.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. Like I'm gonna say a name. I'm gonna point to you, and you're gonna drum on a seat in front of you like this. You're gonna make a drumming motion, and then I'm gonna point to the crowd, and you're gonna point to the crowd. Okay. Okay.
All right. Here's the deal. I'm gonna name some names. I'm gonna point to Sean, and he's gonna make a little drumming motion, and you're gonna drum on the seat in front of you. And then I'm gonna point to you guys. And you're gonna clap and cheer and hoot and holler. Got it? All right. Let's practice. Drum roll. Give me more. And all right, you got it. All right, you got it. So, let's have an honorable mention to all of the Kickstarter top donors. They get some extra love for making that top cash in chronological order. Thanks goes to Mr. Alex Amoroso. No, you're fucking it up. No. Mr. Daniel Capel. Mr. Sean Spainhour, this guy. Mr. Alan Waltz. Okay. Miss Carolyn Russell. Thanks, Bob. Mr. Keith Martin.
I know where you are.
Mr. Buck Cochran. Again, Mr. Ian Overton. Go West T-shirt Company. Mr. David Russell. Thanks, Dad. Again, Mr. Ryan Guillaume. Again, Mr. Kevin Banker. Know that guy. Mr. Tom Day. And Mr. Derek Keene. And of course, I can't forget my 6.5 years strong and still going lovely shop mates, Troubadour Maltese. Wherever you are out there. All right, we're done. Thank you. You're the best.
I'll leave.
You're excused.
I'm light guy.
Back to work, black guy. Thanks again. Neil Peart. All right. So, here we're getting close here, folks. Lastly, everyone, I might need a little help with this one. Lastly, every one person of the crew, every true believer is an integral element. However, there is one absolutely critical fifth and final element without which this project literally would never have gotten off the ground and would instead be gathering dust in my mind of some sort of one that got away sort of story. You know who you are. My damsel in shining armor. Shannon Modak. No, don't worry, I'll pay for that one later. My damsel in shining armor, Rachel Marie Russell. All of this, every ounce, every facet, all of you lovely people, none of the celebration tonight would be here if it were not for her. Here's a little story. One night after we bought our house, I remember I was sat on the couch in a real huff because I had an idea. I knew this idea that I had was big. It was more than I'd ever done before, this big, big, big idea. But I also knew that I would never be able to manifest it. Hence the foul mood. Cue Rachel. She asked why I was so pensive and frustrated looking, to which I unfurled my unrest. When I went through the minutiae of my stagnant petulance, explaining how I wanted to make this big sculpture about human connection but couldn't find the means, she just took it apart. That's what she does. Why? She asked. What's the stopgap? What do you need? Well, why? What's the problem? What's so important about that? Why? Why not? She unpacked it. My mind was in a knot, and she poked and prodded and loosened and tugged until my tone had changed. It had changed, and with her continued support, it stayed that way. From that moment, I was on a mission to bring this piece to the world. She was by my side, helping me with every single aspect of the project. Timelines, Kickstarter pre-launch, social media, Kickstarter campaign maintenance, backer reward, tier design, fulfillment spreadsheets, digital file design, materials acquisition, financing, even the meticulous and time-consuming gold plating. When I needed to work late, she wouldn't complain that, well, we never do anything anymore because you're always working so much. No, she would order a pizza and have it sent to my shop. She even did 99% of the party plan for the night. Simultaneously, my accomplice and alibi, my champion and running mate, my lovely wife, the other half of Trachel, if you haven't heard that one. I love you. And all these people. Thank you. I may have done a lot of work on this thing, but you should never forget that it is here because of you. To Rachel, everybody. The funny part about that story is that, like, ever since we've been talking about tonight and planning stuff, she's like been sending me all of these like times when CEOs and like famous actors and stuff have like read like acceptance speeches at like the Oscars or whatever, and like they were written by their wives, and it was like, to my lovely, amazing, confident, sexy, beautiful, wise, never wrong wife, who I will give foot rubs to endlessly. You know, and I wrote that before you started sending those things. All right, we're getting close here, like I said. On a side note, a different tone, I suppose. I had two older sisters. Though unfortunately neither of them are here tonight, one by choice and one by cancer. Wherever they are, it is my wish that both of them have found peace and they have the wind at their backs. This sculpture is dedicated to the memory of Dana Banker, a lovely human and one of my longest standing friendships. She showed me nothing but generosity and kindness for 20 years. We love you, Dana. So the funny thing about the sculpture made of mirrors, it reflects its environment. I'm very excited for it to reflect the faces of our community. And in closing, I challenge you, true believers, to once a day embrace a fellow human in such a gesture. If not just like this, then something of equal or greater impact. Let them know that not only have they imparted impetus and energy upon you, but also that you hope that what they may have taken away from your experiences together has championed them and shown them a helpful perspective that is not their own. Ladies and gentlemen, you may know the Chicago Bean. It is my distinguished pleasure to give to you what may be deemed the Fort Collins of one more time. Thank you, dear true believers, for your time and attention. This concludes our presentation. We'll take a couple minutes intermission here, and then we'll come back together for a Q&A session. Cheers.
That was the sweetest.
Heartthrob.
What can't he do? I mean, really.
I don't know if that's what's in there.
Are people
I didn't
gonna
turn
come
it off.
back? Do you think? That's why I didn't want to get.
I just wanted to take